We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping.
We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. What's up, Chicago? And welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio, episode 609, season 17. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, aka MzHipHop. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate all y'all. If you want to be on the show, email me at speakyourmindradio2021@yahoo.com. And y'all, the wait is finally over, okay? Oh my God. J. Cole released The Fall Off with a full list of hidden features. It's here, and this frame of work is intended to be J. Cole's final album. The double album is designed as a final chapter to his career, bringing his musical journey full circle from his debut mixtape, The Come Up. So this isn't a Michael Jordan NBA retirement we're talking about here, where Jordan came back a second time. And not even a Jay-Z move when he announced his retirement from music in 2003 with the release of the Black Album and his farewell concert in Madison Square Garden. He also came back to music in 2006. Speaking of which, the Jay-Z and the J. Cole tension was stemming from the beginning. When Cole felt frustrated by the pressures to create mainstream hits, you know? According to J. Cole's manager, Ibram Hammett, he goes, "At this point, now we're really close with Drake. Future's one of my closest homies that I done met through the game. Nico, Chubbs, all those guys. So they pull up and we're having a conversation. Me, Cole, Drake, and Future. I don't know who else was there, a couple more people. So then Jay walks in and sees all of us together and he goes, 'Yo,' and he looks at Drake and says, 'Yo, give the boy one,' and points at Cole, as to say basically, give him a hit. Eve says, 'I even remember Future's face like, that's embarrassing. Hell yeah, that was embarrassing.' This happened in LA during the Two Kings dinner all-star weekend party, like they do every year, you know. So that was all transcribed in the inedible audio series, which is about J. Cole's career, which explains his verse on Disc 2, Track 2, when Cole says, 'On cloud 9, now I'm signed to my hero, one of the so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp.' Now, although Cole idolized and respects Jay-Z, he claims that he still wants to do it on his own. He wanted Jay to look at him more as a peer than a little brother. I understand that. So, back to J. Cole, The Fall Off, hidden features. Future is actually listed as well as Tim's, Erykah Badu, Burna Boy, and Westside Gunn. And I'm going to get into some of my favorite tracks, y'all. But first, I want to give a little insight into the cover art of The Fall Off. The front and the back cover are photographs that J. Cole took when he was just 15 years old. The back cover includes the track list and is also a picture that he shot on the of the walls of his bedroom at that time, which is truly inspiring because, y'all, there were a lot of biggest artists on there, like, you know, influences in his music, like Tupac. So Cole was like 6 years old when Pac passed, and he remembers everyone crying about his death and how he felt nudged to write a poem about Pac during his passing. Cole was always a peacemaker, so when the beef happened with Pac and Biggie, it transformed him, you know, which is why he didn't want any parts of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. They were all friends and called themselves the Big Three. But Cole didn't want to go down that road like Pac and Biggie did. You know, he chose his sanity over, beef. Do y'all remember that beef that he had with Lil Pump back in 2018? That shit was so funny. Oh my God. Pump so young, 17, 18, talking about F Drake. I mean, not Drake. I'm sorry. F Cole, this, that, and the third. And they're going back and forth on diss tracks, and, Lil Pump ain't with that lyrical shit type thing. So Cole was like, okay, let's have a sit down talk. And they talked about an hour on camera. You would have thought the shit was AI because the way they were going back and forth with each other. But J. Cole was trying to be the bigger person and show him that you can't continue down this route of, making music without respecting those that come before you. So that was dope to me. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So now, while the Fall Off released today on February 6, 2026, fans discovered an alleged J. Cole burner account on IG where the artwork for the Fall Off was posted as early as March of 2020. That was during COVID. That's when everybody was at their most creative peak. Businesses were getting started and, ideas were flowing. It was an incredible feeling working from home, Now, the post shows photos of J. Cole's first makeshift studio setup with his mom that his mom bought him, signifying the album was established years in advance, hidden in plain sight for a long-awaited project, which is pretty cool. Now, if you made it this far into the episode, congratulate yourself. I appreciate you, because now it's time to talk about MzHipHop standout tracks on J. Cole's The Fall Off. Let's go. Yo, my phone literally was overheating yesterday. Like, I'm talking about, it was overheating so much that it just dropped out the bed, Now, J. Cole's The Fall Off, it dropped here in Chicago at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, which was midnight for us in the Midwest. So we really got a special treat. Now, the honorable track I want to talk about would be J. Cole's Life Sentence. On this track, Cole delivers one of his most personal reflections of love, loyalty, and commitment. It's a letter framed to his longtime partner. The track traces their relationship from childhood innocence through fame, temptation, and hard-earned maturity. Yeah. And if you didn't catch the DMX sample, you've probably been living under a rock. That DMX sample was from How's It Going Down featuring Faith Evans. That was dope. Cole has interpolated so many classics on the Fall Off, starting with more tracks like I Love Her Again, sampling Common's song Delight, and Cole's track The Villas with Outkast single Elevators, Me and You, and Cole's record Man Up, which features another classic hit by Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It, and Jenny from the Block. I thought that was cool. And don't forget about the song Old Dog, which interpolates the single 24s by T.I. Yeah. Now, y'all, I know that's a lot, right? But especially since he's given us his final album for the fans, and with that being said, we don't do skips over here. So you were either all in last night or out like a light. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. Another track I love that was on J. Cole's The Fall Off was Only You. I must say his singing has vastly improved over the course of his career. Now, Only You is a track that is a soul-bearing collaboration between J. Cole and Burna Boy. The lyrics highlight the deeper, more domestic vulnerability and serves as a tribute to the complexities of long-term partnership, fatherhood, and hidden burdens of success. The overall song is a dialogue between the invincible public persona of a superstar and the frail reality of their private lives. This is my last standout track because I want y'all to run to Spotify and run this episode up and leave a comment and tell me your favorite tracks on J. Cole's The Fall Off. The song What If hit y'all. It hit y'all, like, oh my God, I was saying earlier that J. Cole was a huge fan of Pac, so this track only made sense. What If is a conceptual storytelling track in which J. Cole imagines an alternate reality where the East Coast West Coast feud never escalated into tragedy. The song unfolds as a dialogue with Cole writing from the perspectives of both the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur, allowing both sides to reflect on misunderstanding media influences and ego. So rather than glorifying the rivalry, Cole humanizes it. The verse explores how miscommunication and outside pressures slowly turn respect into opposition, ultimately leading to consequences neither artist intended. By framing the song as a conversation piece instead of a diss, Cole emphasizes how avoidable the conflict may have been. The title, What If, captures the song's emotional core, a meditation of hindsight and loss. It asks listeners to consider how hip-hop history and two lives might have changed if pride hadn't hardened into violence. What a dope song to pay homage to the 90s hip-hop artists of our time, y'all. And y'all, before I get up out of here, I just want to say to all of you hip-hop heads, if you believe J. Cole is playing us, you may be wrong. Because like I said, this album was planned years ago. The title alone says it all. The fall off means to detach and to drop from something, like hip-hop or, say, music altogether. Figuratively speaking, it means to decrease the intensity of something. So I guess he's falling back from making more musical projects, which is why Cole has blessed us with that 4-pack Birthday Blizzards 26 mixtape. He's going out with a bang. Good for you, J. Cole. Good for you. Yes, do your thing. He's a smart cookie, smart businessman. Thank you guys so much for listening to my rant. Make sure you go check this episode out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. I love you so much, Chicago, and remember to stay sexy and dangerous.